Freak and Lyric has to be the most cursed caster duo possible. Right after that, we see a lot of global picks around the TF, which is kind of interesting, but no Diana. RNG is going to take away Targamas's Pike and the flex potential from Illusion. Be interested if RNG look for the third ban on Wukong. That would leave Senna open for G2, and the Kalista early game potential taken away from Gala. Gala has been looking towards the Ezreal pick and the Kai'Sa pick, and G2 have also been contesting those picks, so it'd be interesting what we see in the bot lane. Wukong. Ban the Wukong. LeBlanc is banned, so it should be a first pick Wukong, and then they can flex it into a Senna pick potentially. Especially into that early Ezreal pick to stifle it. So see the Wukong. Will probably be answered by Ari Viego though. You actually don't even need to pick the Viego, I don't think, unless you look to flex the Wukong. The Gwen is an interesting pick as well. Notable counters in the Gwen is the Alistar in the bot lane. You just need to make sure you don't get counterpicked by Sylas when you pick it. So we'll see what RNG look to pick up here. It is going to be the Ari, and they can wait for the Viego pick later, unless G2 pick it here and they pick the Senna as well, which would be really, really big. Because Viego would be so good with this Ari, so it's like picking up draft capital in both spaces, but it looks like we won't be seeing that because the Viego would be an instant red flag as to banning the Senna. You have to assume it'd be a R3 Viego pick for sure. Vladimir is a interesting counter into the Gwen. We saw it last game play out pretty well in the scaling potential from Saigon, and Broken Blade on the Vlad has looked really, really good. But you still have to think that this is the Viego pick. It's going to be the Ezreal instead. Very interesting. We'll see how far this Viego gets. Or if we want to ban away supports that are good with the Ezreal in the Braum, the Leona, the Rakan. Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see. Also, the Zoe pick having the early lane prio into a pretty docile Ari pick is pretty big. Cap's looking for a very, very potent lane combo, or lane potential here. The Tristana, especially picked alongside the Viego, is really, really threatening. Viego is banned away from the R4 potential from RNG, giving or support that counter pick on R5. Imagine picks like the Zaya and stuff is what you'd be worried with into the Ezreal, but instead they do ban the Senna away, which takes away the flex potential from that Wukong. And the last answer we see into the jungle position. Maybe Waze Volibear. I'd be afraid of the Volibear at level 6, I think. Lee Sin is beatable though. Lee Sin kick pretty good for kicking Wukong out of the fight, but I think the armor makes it so Wukong very quickly will be able to 1v1 the Lee Sin in jungle. But instead it's going to be locked in anyways. So let's see what the bot lane has in store for us for G2. Target is definitely one of the most inspiring prospects in the bot lane here. Drafting alongside Flecked. Something to possibly sustain through the Ezreal could be a thing. Or they could look for the Kaisa and generally scale above it. And we could see a pick like the Nautilus come through. Or I would hope the Alistar. But some sort of heavy CC pick at the very least. Yeah, just the Nautilus. Not bad. It's understandable. If there's any spot that you would want to see the Nautilus sit is next to Kaisa. Otherwise, I think the Pix is largely unplayable. So see what Ming does go for. The Renata is also a really, really big pick into it. But they look for the skill matchup instead with the Leona next to the Ezreal. So playmaking coming out from both teams. G2 have an earlier window in the mid lane. If they play around the early damage of Lee Sin that has been kind of neutered, I think at the late game, Lee Sin will see more trouble. So they can generally look for permascaling. Nautilus just needs to not get into too much trouble, and they need to turn the game out before Gwen gets too ridiculous. But G2 have a clear path to victory here, so could be very interesting to watch. Oh my god, spare me. Bro. Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. Please. Bro. Holy shit. Oh my god. My mouse is like fucked, so it keeps double clicking. Alright. Good god, it took longer than I wanted, but I can sit back and relax now. Something you need to watch out for is the early lane clearing from Lee Sin could be threatening into the Wukong, which is why generally people look to counterpick it with the Diana pick. I almost thought about unmuting the cast and then I remember that Freak is on the other side of that door. No thank you. No thank you. What else is this? What's the schedule like? Geniuses versus Saigon. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna do the draft analysis for that and then go grab McDonald's or something. Mirrored clears here for the junglers. Playing around Gala's early game potential from level 1 on is pretty good. Both bot laners opting for the Doran's Blade is very, very fascinating. It's generally players look for the Longsword 3 bot. It's a pretty large onus on Ben to pressure the early Vladimir, considering you get that early boost from E. And as both of the scaling champions, you have that early boost where Vladimir doesn't. Early level 2 for Gallus, they'll be able to zone G2 off the wave a little tiny bit. Let's see if they can deny the melee. Nope. Nope. Interesting. Poke damage a little bit from Broken Blade. Getting there. I have like $2 on GT winning here, so a little bit invested. Shahu backs for Dark Seal and Control Word and is teleporting back the lane, or is he walking? Pushes through and walks. Interesting. So it looks like they're still going to be even. If a slight cheater. This is also a really, really big wave that Caps has been able to climb. So Wukong. No, Wukong's not that kekw. Teleport forced out of bin, which is really, really good for Broken Blade, considering the early aggression that Gwen can show. So we'll see how Broken Blade is able to extend this into a level 6 advantage to perhaps dissuade Bin from getting use out of that buff to the cooldown. Gwen gets a level 6. A lot of chip damage going off. Also a very easy lane for Flakked so far here. Ming not being able to find any aggressive angles, looking to outscale this Nautilus. Bin and Broken Blade trading back and forth, and Broken Blade kind of getting the short end of the stick here. Ignite comes out from Broken Blade. Needs off to back and then... Ooh, Wei is actually fishing here. Broken Blade doesn't give it too much pressure. If he doesn't respect it enough, he could have gotten clapped a little bit. Speaking of getting clapped, you're able to trade a little bit on the auto attacks, and you're up in farm. But Xiaohu's gonna get the farm back. He's gonna end up ahead. This Caps is looking for a way in the top lane. The Vision's just gonna dodge out and away, too. You trade Grump for Wraiths, and counter jungle and Wraiths. Targamas is able to share the gold on the tank creep there. And then you can potentially go bottom and... No, tank creep's dead there. But... Okay, Targamas versus Ming. It's Portal Combat. Fight! Can't imagine either team looking for too much action around this Drakey yet. I imagine folks will want to hit 6 first. Oh, well, Caps already did. Interesting. Yankov's pretty close as well. Oh, he's actually pretty far. Yeah, everyone's gonna not fight up to prolong it a little bit longer. Pretty significant gold coming up from the Vladimir, especially Bin should be winning this matchup, you would think. Definitely the bottleneck for the Vlad is that level 6 potential, so... Oh, you're giving her... Don't give Bin an excuse for the needlework. Yeah, it's not great. Alright. But 0-2 power spike can come through for Broken Blade. Copium. It's a pretty good play from Wei though, being up there for the level 6 around Gwen. Definitely very disrespectful for the Vladimir Broken Blade not respecting the level 6 from Gwen. And usually when Broken Blade dies there, you look for a trade play in the bot lane with Ocean Drake, but instead they're getting a little damage on this Herald. This could keep Gala up late too. So they're going to trade neutral objectives. The pressure bot that Ezreal can exert makes sense. Ezreal arm missing is actually pretty big. But target miss is gonna. Oh, Kai'Sa's kind of performing. Ooh, they're gonna redive though, which is really big. So they traded out a double kill away. Potentially you could die as well. Not quite. Wait, Caps is smurfing. Caps is absolutely smurfing. And Jehu doesn't have mana. Wukong's coming down. Flashes. Wild. What a trade play. Also, great performance from Flakked, getting as much value there as possible. Really abusing Gala being so aggressive. As the gold's almost even up. Without a Herald play yet, so it's going to be 300 gold, almost 500 behind. So there should be the gold lead for G2, insured. Wukong trading ult with Ahri, ensuring. I wonder what cooldown looks like there. Oh my god, Lee Sin's dying. Oh my god, Caps is crazy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yankos. The man, the myth. Let's go, baby. G2 is fucking crazy or what? Group C to the moon, baby. To the moon! We're number 1, baby. Overall, the only concern for G2 probably is the gold advantage that Gala was amassed in the bot lane. Not too many plates gone, only the one that we saw on camera, as you'll take, but I would still watch out for that generous advantage that Gala's been given. If you give Gala an inch, Gala will take a mile. A 0-2 power spike though, coming through in 4K. Yeah. So this is going to ensure that that goes well though. But it's a lot of plates in the bot lane. Potentially the entire turret. First turret gold. Potentially going over. It's a pretty big trade. So we look in the mid lane. Targamas and Cass are charging along. Xiaohu ults. It's going to be able to drill through Xiaohu pretty well. And Targamas gets out alive. So considerable gold going through. As they potentially got a tier 2 here. With no shutdowns, you can trade. You can trade for the turret. I think you win that. Helps you outscale the Lee Sin. So despite the kill on Vladimir top, we're able to trade plays in with bot turret. And overall pretty good play from both teams. It's anyone's game here. I would 100% try to fight the Ezreal before they complete Miramena. Oh my god, Gal's exploded. Yankos can look for an angle. The 1v1 way onto Yankos in the bot lane is not optimal. Yankos' ult is kind of fucked though. So it's just is Ari and Gwen ult versus Vladimir, I guess. Vladimir's the big one. And then Kaisa, Nautilus gets a couple. So they're forcing with the Vladimir here. Leona's on her way back. Bin's out the back, but Drake secured by Caps. Gwen is slapped in the back line, so Vladimir gets to deal with it. Kaisa ult locks down so they can single out every single target. Oh, great hook from Targamas. The Bubble's blocking the way if they want to re-engage, but they're not that strong. Really great team fighting from G2. They get the Drake, you get all the kills. Did a member even drop? Just fantastic fighting from G2. Also, Vladimir being a part of these fights is really, really big. Dylan Falco. Pretty sweet. I don't think you can let White just get that. I don't know. It'd be like the last thing you would give the jungler, I think. Because generally Lee Sin will get outscaled. It's secured by Yankos. So I would find some way to put it top. It has to be before that Drake fight, I believe. Yeah, it's just been ripped apart. So you can't even get anything from that, but Two really big kills. G2 is just smurfing on him. Target is definitely dead, but yeah, the double kill also gives them the perfect angle for the Herald to go down, which means they're not really fucking up their tempo in order to drop it leading into the next Drake fight. Flacket drops though. It's a pretty big shutdown, but it's under the Lee Sin. Okay, I can live with that. That's not an Ezreal. I think it completes Marimena. If he gets close to doing it. Yeah, he would actually. No lie. Might have to sell Doran's blade, but he would get there. At the very least, he would upgrade to CDR boots. So it's better that it goes on Lee Sin instead. Great job from Flacket buying space for his team instead of trying to 1v1 in a fight or flight situation. Pretty good play from Y as well. But he even had the pink ward in it now. But G2 for real could be the only undefeated team in the tournament. Leading into this Drake fight, it's a little bit uncomfortable. You don't have the biggest wave pushing in the top lane. But you'll have bot prio. You can look for mid prio too. Vladimir's there already. But the lack of vision is pretty spooky. I would almost like sprint to the tier 2 and bot instead of the Drake. You could force a fight on the side wave instead of in the Drake corridor with all these chokes. Broken Blade is being pitched on and trade for the Drake. So once again, Broken Blade is continually trading for a play. I think it's not the worst mistake. And that bot tier 2 does fall. Local gold isn't given, but it's still pretty big. W. Good on Flaggett for pushing that wave before Drake. They're just dry baroning though. Just really, really big. Kai'Sa fucking slams this shit. You gotta watch out. Way's alone. Oh! Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, well, we're alive. My heart, not quite, but at the very least G2 is. So it's a pretty big window around this Drake, so it's not going to ensure that this Baron is going to lead any pressure. So we could find some sort of stalemate where we are trading neutral buff for neutral buff. We'll see what comes through though. He flashed? Bro. Definitely a Maka-esque moment for sure, but Yankos is just a god, so it's the girlfriend buff. It's just too strong. Wei is coming in the back line in this picture to picture. Ming is setting up, but Ming instantly falls. Oh, but wait, Ming didn't fall. Alright, Ben choked it though. Ben choked it so hard. Alright. So good power play. Now we need bot and mid pressure into third Drake, and that will ensure that you get a Baron. It should. But they're going to be pretty close. If they get the third Drake here, they can just keep threatening Baron, and then either they can force the fight, or they can just keep threatening the Baron until the Drake spawns. So we're just buying time for Broken Blade to hit level 16 here. You can start threatening, exploding people. G2 is going to get this third Drake uncontested. Leaves you a minute and a half to set up vision on this Baron. You can recall then, get more wards, set up vision again. At that point, it's pretty hard to lose. G2 have thrown from larger leads, but I will, holding out for a hero. Targum is having a little bit of an easier time into the vision game. Bit just wins this, like, hard, right? Yeah. Oh, but Flackett here? Oh my god, Flackett's a god. Alright, Yanko doesn't choose to flash on Jahu. So it's just the cleanse spent on that play. Being able to trade up pressure from Bin. It's pretty big. The Baron is going to spawn here, and they don't have nearly as much vision as I want them to. Why would Broken Blade opt into this either? Unless you're just looking for the camp yourself, I guess. But I think we saw Gwen pushing in the bot, so I don't quite know what the thought process was, but hey, it's whatever. So Ben is pushing the bot lane, which makes it really, really hard for them to keep pushing on this Baron. All things considered. A series of wards coming down into the bot lane there is not optimal. The pink ward's doing a really good job of cutting all the vision in that pit. Feel like it's going to be ulted on, but Jankos is blocking shots. Gwen is answered in the bot lane as she's forced to recall and reposition around this streak. This Baron is going to be stalled out to the point where it's going to be the same. It's going to be a handshake trade between the two. I don't think RNG are in the spot where a Baron solves all their problems. So they could just look to trade it for that Mountain Soul, which would be really, really good for the Wukong, really, really good for the Kai'Sa trying to dive in. Also hitting level 16 for all three of the carries would be really big on the side of G2 before any fight. But instead they're just forcing. Ben has the angle to be really, really huge here. But Ben is absolutely eviscerated by the Kai'Sa. We should take it slow. Just farm out levels. Let's get both our carries to 16. We can re-engage the fight. So they're pining towards the Baron. You do have to watch out because Lee Sin does have flash, but they're doing somewhat of a good job. Flacket has hit 16. Ben is teleporting to the bot wave. With Ben teleporting to the bot wave, they're just going to go on Baron here. They start shredding it. Flacket auto attack it. They're just baiting, but they have to actually like go on it. Yeah, they need to start. They should have started earlier even. Because now they have to coin flip it against Y. Yeah, not the greatest play from G2 here. I'm not gonna front. You have to be really a lot quicker on the trigger pull in order to trade those objectives like that. But they do find a pretty influential kill onto Xiaohu, as Broken Blade is trying to 1v4. And that's just enough time for G2 to come through and clean up the fight. So unless Ben can find a god teamfight angle here, which Flacket is there to blow him up, it's just easy. The undefeated streak continues for G2 here. Technically, the jungler is still up, so the Baron's not 100% safe, but G2 successfully draws RNG down to the bottom side of the map, invest the vision there, and then pull them back up to the Baron. A very successful fight for the G2 lineup here. So again, we're going to get into the same problem where both neutrals are up at the same time in the next one, so I guess the fight isn't entirely over for RNG, but a very valuable stance here for G2's lineup. Also, a massive performance from Flacket's Kai'Sa here. On a pick with not a lot of utility for the Kai'Sa to play off of outside of the Wukong ult and the Nautilus R. Nautilus CC generally. Pretty good stuff coming through. Oh wait, Flash is still up, so they do still need to pay attention. Yanko's trying to draw out abilities. Pretty unsuccessful. Who's engaging on who? Kicking the Wukong into your team is maybe not the best strategy, but it works out a little bit. This Flaggett is raining down hell, but that is the jungler gone. But with Drake not up for another 2 minutes, we're kind of chilling. So we're gonna get a preliminary set of wards here. In the bot lane, they're gonna reset and look to either reapply vision in the bot side, or they're gonna look to lean towards Baron once again. I mean, great play from Flackett here. Perfect zoning, gets 3 members down. Just the constant DPS is really, really good. Good God. Great performances from this bot lane. Bin is tearing up Targamas. Not the greatest start to the fight, I will admit. Big Wukong ult though. Flackett delivered right into the back line. Steps forward, almost too far from Kaisa. But all of Ezreal's poke doesn't really land onto the Kaisa, and everyone's gonna be rat down. They can end on mid. Alright. That pays for my McDonald's, baby. We did it. Wild games the day. Wild games day for G2. Absolute gamers, absolute smurfs. Great stuff.